In a galaxy filled with many strange and powerful civilizations, one empire stood out, the Zorath. They were a proud and fierce race, known for their advanced technology and ruthless tactics. The Zorathians believed they could conquer any world they wanted, and their next target was Earth. Commander Thrak, the leader of the Zorath fleet, sat in a large, dark room filled with screens displaying star maps and images of Earth. He looked at his generals, their faces serious as they discussed their plan. "Humans are weak and foolish," he said with a sneer. "They have no idea what is coming. We will crush them without breaking a sweat." His generals nodded, their eyes gleaming with excitement. They had seen humans before, and they were not impressed. "We have advanced weapons and ships," one general said. "This will be an easy victory." Meanwhile, on Earth, people went about their daily lives, completely unaware of the danger approaching from the stars. Children played in parks, adults worked in offices, and families gathered for dinner. It was a normal day, but that would soon change. At a military base, a group of scientists and military leaders gathered for an urgent meeting. They had been tracking strange movements in space and knew something was wrong. Dr. Patel, a smart scientist with glasses, stood in front of a large screen showing the Zorath fleet. "This is not a drill," he said, his voice shaking. "The Zorath are coming, and they plan to invade. We need to prepare for battle." The military leaders exchanged worried glances. General Roberts, a seasoned commander, spoke up. "We need to warn the public. They need to know that we are in danger." But Dr. Patel shook his head. "If we panic the people, it could lead to chaos. We must prepare in secret." So the leaders decided to keep the news quiet while they began to create a plan. They knew they needed to strengthen Earth's defenses and come up with strategies to fight back. They gathered resources and called upon the brightest minds to help. As the Zorath fleet moved closer, Earth's scientists worked around the clock. They revived old military technology, bringing back ships that had been resting for decades. Meanwhile, they trained elite soldiers to prepare for the fight of their lives. These soldiers were tough and dedicated, ready to defend their home. Back in the Zorath fleet, Commander Thrak was confident. He watched as his ships, huge and powerful, approached Earth. The Zorath had advanced weapons that could destroy planets, and Thrak felt a thrill of excitement at the thought of an easy victory. "Prepare for attack," he ordered. "We will show these humans the true power of the Zorath." As the ships descended towards Earth, the humans began their preparations. In secret bunkers, soldiers practiced their maneuvers. Scientists created new weapons that used Earth's resources in clever ways. They knew they had to fight smart, using everything they had to defend their planet. On the ground, people were starting to sense that something was wrong. They could see strange lights in the sky and hear distant rumblings. Some looked up, their hearts racing with fear. "What's happening?" they whispered to each other. As the Zorath ships entered Earth's atmosphere, they were met with unexpected resistance. Earth's defenses, hidden until now, sprang to life. Missiles shot into the sky, exploding against the Zorath ships. Commander Thrak's confidence began to fade as he realized that the humans were not as easy to defeat as he had thought. "This isn't what we planned," he shouted, frustration boiling over. The Zorath fleet had not prepared for such fierce resistance. The humans were fighting back with courage and creativity, and Thrak found himself on the defensive. Back on Earth, the people watched in shock as the battle began. Fear turned into determination as they realized that their lives depended on the outcome. They saw their soldiers fighting bravely and felt a surge of hope. The humans would not go down without a fight. In that moment, a new spirit awakened on Earth. The Zorath may have thought they were an easy target, but the humans were ready to show them otherwise. As the first battle raged, both sides knew that this fight would change everything. As the battle between Earth and the Zorath raged on, humanity's secret preparations were set into motion. Deep underground, in a hidden military base, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly. They knew they had to fight back against the powerful alien invaders. The world was watching, but the true strength of humanity was about to be revealed. Dr. Patel, the brilliant scientist, was at the heart of this effort. He stood in front of a large screen displaying blueprints of advanced technology. "We need to combine old and new," he told the gathered military leaders. "If we can revive ancient warships and use advanced weapons, we can turn the tide against the Zorath." General Roberts nodded, his eyes filled with determination. "Let's gather all available resources. We need to bring those ships back to life and train our soldiers quickly." The Zorath think they can win easily, but they will be in for a surprise. The team worked around the clock, racing against time. Old warships, once forgotten, were dusted off and refurbished. These ships were not just pieces of metal. They held memories of battles fought long ago. With each repair, the spirit of the past returned, giving hope to the soldiers who would soon crew them. Meanwhile, the training programs began. Soldiers from all over the world came together, united by a single goal: to protect their home. They trained hard, pushing their bodies to the limit. They learned how to operate the revived warships and master new weapons that harnessed Earth's unique resources. Some soldiers even developed strategies based on the Zorath's own weaknesses. In the midst of this preparation, stories began to circulate among the people of Earth. News of the brave soldiers fighting back against the Zorath spread like wildfire. Families gathered in living rooms, their eyes glued to screens, watching the battles unfold. They cheered for their troops, and each victory filled them with hope. The world was beginning to believe in their strength. Back in the Zorath fleet, Commander Thrak was starting to feel the pressure. His once unstoppable forces were meeting unexpected resistance from the humans. Frustrated, he gathered his top generals for a meeting. "Why are we facing such strong opposition?" he demanded. "These humans should be easy to defeat." One of the generals spoke up, his voice steady. "Commander, it appears the humans are more resourceful than we thought. They are adapting and learning quickly. We must take action before they become a real threat." Thrak clenched his fists, his anger rising. "Then we will crush them. Increase our attacks on their cities. Show them the power of the Zorath." But instead of instilling fear, Thrak's orders only fueled the fire of determination among the humans. Every attack on their cities brought people together, making them more resolute to fight back. Earth's leaders called for unity, urging citizens to support their troops. Communities rallied, providing supplies, weapons, and encouragement to the soldiers. As the days passed, the Zorath fleet continued to suffer losses. Earth's forces were not only defending, they were striking back with new strategies that surprised the aliens. The revived warships, once rusty and forgotten, now soared through the skies, their cannons blazing with energy. In one particular battle, a group of human pilots led an attack on a Zorath supply ship. The Zorath had expected an easy mission, but they quickly learned that the humans were not to be underestimated. With teamwork and precise maneuvers, the human pilots disabled the supply ship, causing chaos in the Zorath ranks. Commander Thrak watched in disbelief as the humans fought back with unexpected skill. "How can this be happening?" he shouted. "These are just humans!" On Earth, the news of the victory spread like wildfire. People celebrated in the streets, their spirits high. They waved flags and cheered for their heroes, united in a way they had never been before. The Zorath may have come to conquer, but they were awakening a powerful force within humanity. As the Zorath prepared for another attack, the humans were ready. They were no longer the easy target the aliens thought they were. With every battle, Earth was proving that they had hidden power, a strength that came not just from technology, but from the courage and determination of its people. The tide was turning, and the Zorath were about to learn a lesson they would never forget. As the sun rose over Earth, a tense silence filled the air. People everywhere felt the weight of the impending battle. The Zorath fleet loomed in the sky, massive ships casting shadows over cities. They were ready to strike, but so were the humans. Earth had transformed into a battleground, and the fight for survival was about to begin. In the command center, General Roberts stood with Dr. Patel and other military leaders. They stared at the large screen displaying the Zorath fleet. "We have to make our move now," Roberts said, his voice steady but filled with urgency. "If we wait any longer, the Zorath will launch a full-scale attack on our cities." Dr. Patel nodded, determination in his eyes. "We've trained hard and our technology is ready. We can't let fear stop us. It's time to show the Zorath what we're made of." The soldiers gathered around, each one feeling the adrenaline pumping through their veins. They had trained for this moment, and now it was time to put their skills to the test. They boarded their warships, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. Each pilot remembered the faces of their families and friends, fueling their desire to protect their home. As the human fleet took off, they soared into the sky, determined to confront the alien invaders. The Zorath were caught off guard when they saw the humans approach. Commander Thrak was furious. "Why are they attacking us?" he shouted to his generals. "They should be cowering in fear." One of his generals responded, They are fighting back with a strength we did not expect. We must show them our power! The first battle began, and the sky lit up with bright explosions. Earth's warships moved in formation, dodging enemy fire while returning blasts of energy. Pilots shouted commands, their voices filled with courage. They fought together, relying on each other's skills and quick thinking. In the chaos, a young pilot named Alex found himself in a fierce dogfight with a Zorath ship. His hands gripped the controls tightly as he maneuvered his craft. I can't let them win, he thought, remembering his family waiting for him at home. With a deep breath, he pressed the attack button, sending a powerful blast towards the Zorath ship. It exploded in a shower of sparks, and Alex felt a surge of pride. Meanwhile, on the ground, civilians watched in awe as the battle unfolded above them. Families gathered on rooftops, eyes wide with fear and hope. They cheered for their pilots, their hearts racing with each explosion. "Go, humanity!" they shouted, believing in their fighters. Back in the skies, the Zorath were losing ships. Commander Thrax's frustration grew as he watched his fleet suffer. "Retreat!" he shouted, but it was too late. Earth's forces were relentless. With each successful attack, the humans gained confidence. They fought not just for their survival, but for their unity. As the battle intensified, General Roberts noticed a gap in the Zorath formation. "This is our chance!" he yelled into the comms. "All ships, follow me!" He led the charge toward the Zorath flagship, a massive vessel that loomed ominously in the distance. The humans swarmed the flagship, launching everything they had. Energy blasts flew back and forth, and the air was thick with tension. Dr. Patel monitored the situation from the command center, sweat on his brow. "We can do this!" he shouted to his team. "Keep pushing forward!" Inside the flagship, Commander Thrax was in a panic. "Reinforce the shields! Prepare for boarding!" he ordered. But the humans were quick and determined. They pressed on, taking out Zorath fighters left and right. Finally, General Roberts led a group of brave soldiers to board the flagship. They landed on the Zorath ship, weapons drawn and ready for battle. As they moved through the dark corridors, they encountered Zorath warriors. A fierce fight broke out, with both sides clashing in a whirlwind of energy blasts and hand-to-hand combat. In the chaos, Alex found himself face-to-face with a Zorath soldier. They exchanged blows, adrenaline coursing through their veins. "I won't let you take our planet!" Alex shouted, summoning all his strength. With a final push, he knocked the Zorath soldier down, feeling a rush of triumph. The battle raged on, and the humans were proving to be formidable opponents. With each victory, they gained momentum, inspiring others on the ground and in the air. They were no longer the easy target the Zorath had thought. Humanity was fighting back with everything they had, and they would not give up without a fight. As the sun began to set, casting a fiery glow over the battlefield, it was clear that the fight for Earth was far from over. But the humans had shown their strength, proving that they were ready to protect their home at any cost. The battle for Earth had raged for days, and fatigue began to weigh heavily on both sides. In the midst of chaos and destruction, fear crept into the hearts of many. The Zorath, once confident of their victory, were starting to realize that humanity was not the weak target they had assumed. On the other side, humans felt the pressure of defending their planet against an alien force that was relentless and brutal. In a temporary command center set up in a small town, General Roberts gathered his weary soldiers. Their faces were smeared with dirt and sweat, and exhaustion hung over them like a thick fog. "Listen up," he called, trying to inspire courage. "We have faced fear and loss, but we cannot let it defeat us. We fight not just for ourselves, but for our families, our friends, and our world." A young soldier named Mia stood among the crowd, her heart pounding. She felt fear creeping in, questioning if they could truly win against such powerful foes. Remembering her little brother, waiting for her return, she pushed the doubt aside. "I have to be brave," she thought. For him. As the soldiers gathered their strength, Dr. Patel worked tirelessly to analyze data from the ongoing battles. "The Zorath are changing their tactics," he warned, pointing to the screen filled with flashing lights. "They are preparing for a massive attack. If we don't respond quickly, we may lose everything we've fought for." General Roberts nodded, his expression serious. "We need to regroup our forces and strengthen our defenses. But we can't hide. We must take the fight to them while we still have the advantage." Meanwhile, deep within the Zorath flagship, Commander Thrax was frustrated. His confidence had waned and anger bubbled inside him. "These humans are resilient," he spat, pacing back and forth. "We underestimated their spirit. They are not just fighting, they are fighting back with courage. We need to break their will." Thrak called for a meeting with his top generals. "We will launch a surprise attack on their command center," he declared, his voice filled with venom. "We will show them the true meaning of fear." Back on Earth, as night fell, the atmosphere shifted. The humans prepared for the upcoming fight, but an air of anxiety loomed over them. Families gathered to watch the news, their eyes glued to screens that displayed images of destruction and heroism. The people were scared, but they also found strength in unity. In a nearby town, Mia's family huddled together. Her mother held her little brother close, whispering words of encouragement. "Your sister is brave," she said softly. "She's out there fighting for us. We must believe in her." The following day, as dawn broke, the Zorath launched their surprise attack. Waves of alien ships filled the sky, casting dark shadows over the Earth. General Roberts and his team watched in shock as the enemy approached. "They're coming!" he shouted. "All hands on deck! Prepare for battle!" The humans scrambled to their warships, adrenaline pumping. Mia felt a rush of fear but fought to keep it at bay. "I can't let them see I'm scared," she thought. "I have to be brave." She boarded her ship, determination burning in her chest. As the Zorath closed in, the humans formed a defensive line. The first blasts of energy tore through the sky, and explosions erupted all around. Soldiers shouted commands, their voices a mix of fear and courage. The air was thick with tension, and each pilot fought to keep their focus amid the chaos. During the battle, Mia found herself face-to-face with a Zorath ship. It fired at her, and she narrowly dodged the blast. Her heart raced as she fought to maintain control. "Stay calm," she whispered to herself. "You can do this." Suddenly, a message came through her comms. "Mia, watch out! They're flanking us." It was Alex, her fellow pilot. She glanced to the side and saw two Zorath ships closing in on her. Panic surged through her, but she quickly remembered her training. "I can't let fear win," she thought. With a deep breath, Mia maneuvered her ship with precision, evading the attacks while returning fire. The Zorath ships exploded in bright flashes of light, and she felt a surge of triumph. Courage flowed through her veins, replacing the fear that had threatened to consume her. Meanwhile, General Roberts coordinated the attack, shouting orders as the humans fought back with all their might. "Don't give up," he urged his soldiers. "Fight for your loved ones. Fight for your home." As the battle intensified, the humans began to gain ground. One by one, Zorath ships fell from the sky, and the tide began to turn. The Zorath commander watched in disbelief, realizing that the humans were more powerful than he had imagined. The courage displayed by the pilots and soldiers was overwhelming. The battle raged on, and amidst the fear, humanity's strength shone through. The humans were no longer just defending, they were fighting back with a fierce determination. With each victory, their spirits soared, and the fear that had once threatened to consume them transformed into courage. In that moment, it was clear the humans would not back down. They were ready to face whatever came next, united in their fight for Earth and their future. The day of the final showdown arrived, and the atmosphere was charged with tension. Earth's sky was filled with dark clouds and flashes of lightning, mirroring the conflict brewing below. After days of fierce fighting, both the Zorath and the humans knew this would be the decisive battle. In the command center, General Roberts gathered his top officers. They all looked worn but determined. "Today we fight for everything we love," he said, his voice steady. "The Zorath will not back down, but neither will we. We have shown our strength, and now we must show them our resolve. Let's end this fight once and for all." Mia stood among her fellow pilots, her heart racing. She could feel the fear bubbling beneath the surface, but pushed it aside. "We can do this," she whispered to herself. "We have come too far to lose now." She glanced at Alex, who smiled reassuringly, and that made her feel stronger. Outside, the Zorath fleet was gathering for one last assault. Commander Thrak stood on the bridge of his flagship, rage boiling inside him. "These humans are a thorn in our side," he shouted to his officers. "We will crush them today! Launch all ships and prepare for total destruction." The Zorath ships soared into the sky, their dark forms blotting out the sun. On the ground, people watched in fear, praying for their pilots. Families gathered in their homes, holding each other tight as the threat loomed above. The news channels reported live updates, and the entire world was on edge. As the Zorath fleet approached, General Roberts led his forces into action. "All pilots, this is it. We fight together," he ordered. The humans launched into the air, their warships forming a line against the approaching enemy. Mia felt the familiar rush of adrenaline as her ship took off, joining the other pilots in the fight. The battle began with a fierce exchange of fire. Bright energy blasts filled the sky, lighting it up like a fireworks display. Mia focused on her targets, dodging enemy fire while returning shots with precision. "Stay calm, stay focused," she reminded herself as chaos erupted around her. In the heat of battle, Alex spotted a Zorath ship targeting Mia. "Mia, watch out!" he shouted over the comms. He quickly maneuvered his ship to intercept the enemy. With a well-aimed shot, he destroyed the Zorath ship before it could hit her. "I've got your back," he called, relief flooding through him. Mia's heart swelled with gratitude. "Thanks, Alex," she replied, determination filling her voice. Together, they fought side by side, their friendship growing stronger as they faced the enemy. The humans pushed forward, showing incredible bravery even in the face of overwhelming odds. On the Zorath flagship, Commander Thrak felt the pressure mounting. His forces were faltering, and he knew they needed a change. "Send in the ground troops! We will take the fight to their command center," he commanded, desperate to regain control. As Zorath troops descended onto Earth, they wreaked havoc in the streets. Buildings shook, and civilians ran for cover. Fear spread among the people, but they quickly found their courage. Local militias joined forces with the military, ready to defend their home. Back in the air, the battle raged on, and the humans fought harder than ever. General Roberts coordinated the forces, urging everyone to hold their ground. "We can't let them through! Protect our cities!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the chaos. With newfound determination, Mia and Alex pressed on, targeting Zorath ships and supporting their ground forces. Each victory boosted morale, and soon the tide began to turn. The Zorath forces were struggling against the relentless human spirit. As the battle reached its climax, General Roberts made a bold decision. "We need to take out the Zorath flagship. That's where their command is," he declared. The humans rallied, preparing for a final assault. Mia felt a surge of energy as she heard the plan. "We can do this!" she exclaimed. "Let's finish this fight!" With Alex by her side, they soared toward the flagship, weaving through enemy fire. As they approached, Mia spotted Commander Thrak on the bridge, his face twisted in anger. "You will not defeat us!" he shouted. But his voice was filled with doubt. The humans were closing in. With a final, desperate push, Mia and Alex unleashed their firepower. Energy blasts struck the flagship, and it trembled under the assault. The Zorath soldiers inside panicked as explosions rocked the ship. Suddenly, with a deafening boom, the flagship exploded in a burst of light. The humans cheered as they watched their victory unfold. The remaining Zorath forces, realizing they were defeated, began to retreat, panic taking hold. As the smoke cleared and the last of the Zorath ships vanished from the sky, the humans felt a wave of relief wash over them. They had done the impossible. They had fought back against a powerful enemy and won. In the aftermath, Mia and Alex landed their ships, joining their fellow soldiers in a triumphant celebration. They embraced, tears of joy filling their eyes. "We did it!" Mia exclaimed, her heart swelling with pride. The people of Earth celebrated their victory, united in a newfound strength. They had faced fear, courage, and chaos, and emerged victorious. Together, they had proven that humanity would never be an easy target. They were fighters, defenders of their home, and now they were ready to rebuild and embrace their future.